SimRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaw.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
The GTP class settled out the championship, but the GTOs are set for an epic showdown. Mukanos and Olenek remain the only 2 contenders and appropriately have been close to each other on pace all season long. But to settle the dispute, our rivals will engage in a street fight. Montreal hosts the final race of the season as we get ready to watch round 12 of the iRacing Kamel GT series. And you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing channel and the iRacing Esports Network. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Adam Lindgren. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Crackers Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Adam, you know as well as any of these drivers what kind of dangers lay ahead in the race.
Yeah, Joe, my time racing the Audi GTO for the GTU Championship gave me a window into what it's like racing these beasts around this track. The Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is a 2.7 mile or 4.36 kilometer clockwise track with 13 turns. And though it may not seem like it, it's a nightmare track for both classes, but in different ways. In both classes, every turn feels as if it's beyond 90 degrees, forcing you to brake hard for each one. For the Audis, this creates significant understeer through the center of each corner, and if you try and compensate with rake and shifting the drive to the rear wheels more, you'll light them up on exit and won't have any tires left for the end of the race. In the Nissan, slow cornering speeds and high curbs means only one thing: turbo lag induced wheel spin. We talk about it every week, but with the walls so close around this 3-lane track, expect to see quite a few clatters from overeager Nissans today. One thing you must be eager on though is passing. Every corner is theoretically a passing opportunity, but your best shot is into the hairpin, at the end of the back straight into the chicane, or into the heavy braking zone into turn 1. With such low-speed corners, the multi-class aspect is difficult as well, as the Audis will have excellent drive off the corners, while the Nissans will be struggling to get by through the middle sector's complicated short straights. We're in for a firecracker of a season finale today, so let's catch a lap around Montreal in our GSRC lap guide.
Alright, we've got Clayton McLeod in the GSRC Nissan, so let's do a lap around Montreal. Down to turn 1, this seems like a good place to pass, but it's very difficult to complete it. The switch back to the hairpin means either side is viable for attack or defense. Plus, lap 1 tends to be full of car contact through this sequence. Watch the wheel spin coming out of there, and then stay off to the left as set up for turn 3. The exit of this chicane is incredibly tight with the wall being right at the edge of the track. Going 100% here all of the time is a big risk. No time to rest here, it's a flat-out blast through 5, but make sure to hug the right side to set up for 6. You can see just how difficult it is trying to tiptoe through this corner and turn 7. You can't risk the tail waggling and slapping the concrete to the outside. As you straighten out this gentle curve, what you want to do is try to spot the bridge as a braking reference. 8 and 9 have these giant sausage curves to the inside at the apex. Do not clatter over them if you can help it. Now comes the run to the casino hairpin. This is your only braking event that isn't into a chicane. That'll make it very enticing for drivers to make passes here. Try not to get on the brakes too late if you do have a go. It's awfully easy to overshoot this corner, and sometimes that can cost you multiple positions. Once again, turbo lag is going to make it treacherous for those with a heavy right foot. Even still, with the backstretch being the longest acceleration zone of the track, being able to get to the power quickly and confidently will be critical to your lap time. The next favorite overtaking spot is definitely into the final chicane. But you've got to treat it with respect because the Wall of Champions is waiting for anyone too greedy on the exit. From there, as you power your way to the line, you've now finished a lap around Montreal.
You see a lap around Montreal. As let's take a look at the championship points. Obviously, I mentioned in the intro, of course, the prototypes have wrapped things up, and of course, with Fabian Gerber taking another championship, he continues to prove why he is one of the top drivers in this series. Justin Albrecht has also wrapped up second place. He can't be overtaken by Jungbluth. The real fight there is for fourth position between Keith and Bell. Keith having just recently moved into the fourth position. But this GTO fight, Adam, this is what we want to watch, and I am excited to see how this plays out.
Definitely, Joe. Yeah, so for those of you who have been paying attention to the forums, you may think that Nick Mykonos is leading the GTO standings by 1 point, but actually, according to our calculations, Rob Olenek still leads the championship by 3 points, and this is because of drop weeks. Rob only had to drop 12 points, while Nick Mykonos had to drop 16 points. So this means that Nick Mykonos needs at least 16 points, which means 5th or better, and he must outscore Rob Olenek by 4 points or 4 positions. So it's going to be really interesting going down to the wire today, and we'll keep you updated on that throughout the day. Ove Trangrade, Reed Miller, and Riley Thompson round out the top 5.
In case you've never watched the Kamel GT series before, why don't we give you a rundown of how these races work out. 40 minutes long. This is their sprint format, and they have no scheduled stop for fuel because of that. It's just straight from the green flag to the checkers. Can come into the pits if you need, but obviously it sets you way behind. There you can see the scoring. That's something to watch out for. And Adam explained to you the situation there, but basically you get 25 points for a win is the big thing to know in this series. Another thing that you need to know is how to subscribe to the iRacing eSports Network. To do that, all you got to do is go to either their YouTube page, or if you scroll down below this video on YouTube, you'll see a big red button that says subscribe. Click that and you won't miss a moment here on IESN of the Kamel GT series. Now, this race right now has Justin Albrecht on the provisional pole because qualifying is happening. Ove Trangrade, who is third in the points in the GTOs, but he can't catch the top 2. Well, no, never mind. Rob Olenek is now to the provisional pole in the GTOs, but he also has Trangrade splitting himself and Mykonos, Adam, and now add Philip Lake to the mix.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. I was observing that Nick Mykonos was about half a second off of Rob Olenek's qualifying time when they were doing qualifying tests during practice. So Nick's going to have to work really hard in this race. If he can't, this is his second lap right now. He's coming through Lapingle right now, and he's coming onto the casino straight. Hopefully he will be able to set a good time and claw his way back up to start outside pole with Rob Olenek. But if he can't, it's going to be a real challenge for him to make up those points unless Rob makes a mistake.
Saw that Justin Albrecht abandoned his second lap. So even though he's the provisional pole sitter, he could still yet be overtaken since he did get another go at it. So we watch Cinto Galindo take 7th. Steve Bycroft, in the meantime, improves, but not his position. He will stay in 3rd.
Yes, Nick Mykonos just went P2 in the GTO, so that puts him outside pole of Rob Olenek. That'll be interesting, especially considering the fact that the GTOs will be starting on the casino straight. So that means that they will be fighting down into the hairpin before the Wall of Champions.
This is the one we want to watch, though. Our provisional pole sitter, Olenek, could extend that gap. He looked fast in the warm-up. What has he got here in qualifying? He does not improve. So, wow, 16 thousandths of a second between himself and Trangrade. Mykonos will start in 3rd. Fabian Gerber takes his second lap and he improves, but does not take the pole away from Justin Albrecht. Waiting for a couple more cars to come through. John Keefe, who's fighting for 4th in the championship, is sitting in 7th. But where is Johnny Bell? Is Johnny Bell not here today? I do not see him, actually.
Yeah, me neither. That's really interesting. I expected him to be here to fight for that 4th position, but it looks like he's not here today.
Just, let's see, Chris Howard still out there trying to get his first timed lap in. And I believe that's it. Chris Howard, the last one to be able to get a time in here in the final 2 minutes. For Colin, who we're watching, has taken both of his laps. He's going to be starting in 7th. Let's see what Howard can do. The number 16 hailing from the UK&I. He comes down towards the wall of champions, the final chicane. Tries to stay off those curves, nice and smooth through there. He's got no time set yet. So as he crosses the line, let's see if this one's going to count. Yes, it does. 27.2. And that's good enough for 7th place, just outside the last row on the grid. And with not enough time left for him to finish his 2nd lap, that's going to solidify our qualifying for the day. So let's go through our starting order here at Montreal. It is Justin Albrecht on the pole for the GTP class. Fabian Gerber, our current champion and repeat champion, will be starting on the outside of that front row. Steve Bycroft going to see if he can do anything to take a win away from these two. He's been fast all season. He'll start 3rd. Gabriel Lanini will be in 4th. Then row 3 has Martin Krejcik to the inside. Ben Lafter starts in 6th position. Chris Howard will be P7 with John Keefe in 8th. Then you've got Heitor Sintez Galindo, and you can't see him on there, but Javier Ribeiro did not set a time. He will start behind Sintez Galindo.
Rob Olenek is going to start on pole for the GTOs alongside Ove Trangarade, who's going to start on row 1 as well. Nick Mercado starting behind Rob Olenek on row 2 in 3rd position, alongside Philip Lake, who we've seen have a strong race last week. Reed Miller starts on the inside of row 3, with Daniel Sadra on the outside of row 3 in the 6th position. Giello Forcolin is going to start in 7th position, with Simo Raba in 8th and Rejean Paul in 9th position.
That's our 19-car starting order here for the final round of the season for the Kamel GT Series. Justin Albrecht looking to end on a high note here. He's been pretty fast, but unfortunately some things outside of his control denied him a chance at the championship. Okayama in particular sticks out with a first lap, first corner wreck that put him on his lid and just about took him out of contention. Of course, this race is starting a little bit on a somber note, as we understand that there was a Formula 2 driver that passed away over at Spa-Francorchamps just recently. So our thoughts go out to his family and to his team and his friends who are probably going through some very difficult times right now. A reminder that racing in the real world is, of course, continues to be incredibly dangerous, and immense respect out to the drivers and thoughts to everyone involved over there. Let's hope that we get a good race here at Montreal. Thankfully, much safer here in the sim world as we wait for the Porsche pace car to take off and Justin Albrecht to lead them to the green flag. Just waiting for the last of the drivers, Ben Lafter and Rejean Paul, the final 2 that need to grid up. Then we can get going for 40 minutes of racing. There we go, as the Porsche pace car takes off down the rowing lake. Fabian Gerber going to try and cap off a excellent season for himself, managing to get by Justin Albrecht here. But really our attention needs to pay towards Rob Olenek and Nick Mukanos in this race, fighting for the GTO Championship, coming down for the last round of the season. Up into the final chicane through Quebec here. The pace car has peeled off. Control now given to Justin Albrecht. He's waiting, letting everybody stack up after the chicane. Now he goes. Green flag is out here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. It is a great jump for Justin Albrecht. Gerber in second behind him. Lanini managing to take 3rd away from Steve Bycroft. But let's head back to the GTOs.
Rob Olenek actually jumped the start, but since this is an official session and they start well back of the final corner, that's actually not a problem for him. So he's leading Ove Trangarade as they go through. Nick Mukanos is held on to that third position ahead of Phil Lake, but they're all single file as they go into turns 3 and 4.
Looks like both classes pretty good off the line. I did not see Ben Lafter or Jean-Paul, though, take to the grid. So we have 17 cars starting this race. Up at the front of the prototypes, it is very tight between Gerber and Albrecht. It looks like Albrecht at least keeping him bay for the moment. Gets a good run off of turn 9, down towards Lepingle. Fabian can't do anything for now. They're already pulling away from Lanini. How about John Keefe, though? He managed to overtake Steve Bycroft as well. So Bycroft going from 3rd to 5th on the first lap, and he might lose another one as he has a big bobble coming out of Lepingle. And here comes Martin Krejcik.
The GTPs are going to have a real hard time getting speed down off of the corner. Take a look at Krejcik on the inside. They're trying to make this work. They're all going to bottle up as they go into the wall of champions. Who's going to make it through safely?
Looks like Bycroft holds him off for now. Krejcik backs out of it. Meanwhile, oh, and is this that's a battle for 3rd, I think. That is John Keefe and Lanini side by side. Lanini gets pushed off. Just a little bit of a shove. The lightest of touches, and Keefe is going to get up into 3rd. Here comes Bycroft because of that. Trying to get the position back from Lanini, but he backs out of it by turn 3.
Doing a great job of holding it together here. Lanini trying to hang on to it there, but it's not going to work. Looks like Chris Howard had an accident. He's now parked, and he's not going to be going forward anymore in the GTPs. But man, this battle up front is completely gripping for us today.
And something's wrong with Ove Trangrade. He's falling backwards. I'm not sure what's going on, but he's down to 6th, and this has implications in the championship because Mukanos has caught up to Olenek. He's now in 2nd place. He's got about 1.3 seconds up to his rival. So he's got some ground to make up, but he's at least putting himself within touching distance.
Yeah, Joe, Ove Trangrade got a slowdown through the wall of champions corners, and so he had to back it off, and that's released Nick Mukanos to try and catch up to Rob Olenek. But Nick Mukanos is about 6/10 behind, which may not seem like a lot, but around here, that's a significant amount of time, and it may not be close enough for the draft to be effective down the Casino Straight.
They're coming up on a spun GTP. That's Javier Romero. He's going to wait for these guys to go by, so he's trying to stay out of their way, at least for the moment. Not sure if he's going to get the car back on track. It looks like it's still running okay. Meanwhile, as we... Ben Lafter's returned, so he must have had a connection issue and has come back out. The GTP driver going to try and see if he can get this race started. Oh, and Martin Krejcik has had a problem with Steve Bycroft. This is in the Senna S. Looks like this started with Bycroft. Oh, taking evasive action on Lanini ahead of him. That slows him up. And then Krejcik just unfortunately was not expecting him to be so slow through the corner.
Yeah, this is something that we're going to see a lot. We'll see it when the GTPs catch up to the Audis as well. But when you get super slow in these corners, these GTPs do not handle well. They're really hard to slow down that much. You get a lot of brake lockup. So a lot of what happened there is just Martin not being able to slow down. He might have seen it in time, but it just was too late for the car to slow down in time. But he's got some right front damage on that car, so it's going to be difficult for him.
It was very nice of him to allow Bycroft to continue on. Didn't want to take that position in sketchy circumstances.
And Reed Miller's gotten by Phil Lake, and this is because Phil Lake got a slowdown through the last couple of corners, so Phil had to slow up and allow Reed Miller through.
Drops them off the back of Mukanos as those two were relatively close to him before. Oh, meanwhile,
and Daniel
through the hairpin,
Sadro. Yeah, you saw what I saw, Joe. Daniel Sadro had a significant amount of time trying to whoa up there. If we keep this replay, but yeah, Daniel Sadro really struggled with that. He got seriously in trouble, and Ove Trangrade making that pass.
That was a great catch. Yeah, I'm not sure if we managed to go back to the replay on it, but if not, we still have some good action out here. Here we go. Let's pull this up. Just after the incident right there. We'll see. We back up just a little bit.
Yeah, perfect. So we're going to watch Daniel Sadro really struggle under braking here. He locks up the fronts, and wow, look at that. Barely being able to hang on to it, and that allowed Ove Trangrade to get through inside.
Some inches from the wall, too, as he was catching the car. So great heads up by the number 6. That puts him down in P5, unfortunately. Now, fans of Rob Olenek have something to cheer about because Mukanos has not been gaining on him. It is 1.7 seconds back now. Lost another half second since we last checked on it. So as things stand, it is still very clearly Olenek's championship.
Yeah, and fans of Phil Lake will be despairing as well because Phil has gotten 3 slowdowns on this lap, and that's put him back to P6. He is no longer challenging Nick Mukanos for that 3rd position. He's way off.
Yeah, it seems like the number 4 is really treading water right now. So he'll have to try and clean this thing up and see if he can get back in it. Meanwhile, Keith and Lanini still fighting for this 3rd position. The Argentinian driver, rather, trying to do what he can to catch up. Keith having started this race in 8th. This is a pretty impressive climb on a track that's known for being a little bit tough to pass on at times.
Definitely, and while the storyline is in the GTOs, the race right now really is in the GTPs. We got quite a few battles. We got Justin Albrecht only half a second behind, in front of Fabian Gerber. We have Lanini, who's now starting to fall off of John Keefe. But we also have Steve Bycroft catching Aitor Sentes Guindo behind them quite quickly.
Gonna watch from Bycroft's perspective, but down into Lepingle, not quite close enough. Both of them looking to get on the throttle as soon as possible. Smooth, but doesn't really give him the best opportunity as we ride on board with the Hoosier up ahead. The number 14. Ooh, he's got a good slipstream, though. Much faster in a straight line. They come up to the wall of champions, side by side into the corner. Both of them outbrake themselves. They're both going to have to take the slowdown penalty, weaving their way through. This is going to allow Craytree to catch up to the back of them, but I think they've served the penalty well enough.
Yeah, we were expecting them to come through that shot as they took the corner through the wall of champions, but they never showed up because they both outbrake themselves.
And
they were fighting so hard.
Let's stay on this replay because Lanini just got by Keefe. This happened coming out of the Senna S. There you see it right there.
Now it looks like Lanini just got stuck on the outside, and there's quite a bit of marbles and gray out there, so that makes it really difficult. And that is, yeah, it's really surprisingly challenging. So those two still duking it out right now.
He falls back a little bit, but Lanini had been working on that a while. That gets him back onto the podium. He's got a whole 12 seconds up to Gerber. The top 2 have just run off like a shot and left everybody behind. So you see Lanini now pulling out of Lepingle down to the Rowing Lake Straight. So we head over to Sadro. Phil Lake has caught up to the back of him, takes a look to the inside into turn 6. Doesn't quite work out, but now they've got Ben Lafter trying to come through.
Yeah, it looks like Phil Lake's going to try and look, but Ben Lafter's got to squeeze through, so Phil Lake had to back out of it. That's unfortunate for Phil. He had a good run on Sadro there. He's going to have to wait until, oh my goodness, lots of stuff going on up here.
Whoa!
Oh my.
That's Ove Trangarade off to the side that Ben Lafter just got into. Couldn't have seen that one coming. Yeah, you're right. A lot of stuff happening, so much to untangle. So initially, Trangarade spins the car coming off of 9. Ben Lafter, who had interrupted that battle, overshoots the corner, has to take the slowdown. And as he's doing that, there's Trangarade in the way because he's got Phil Lake and Sadro to his right side.
Trangarade tried to pull off, and he didn't realize that someone was going to be trying to come through at that spot. So he tried to pull off and keep it safe, but he just wasn't able to do it.
From inside Ben's cockpit, because I wonder how much he could really see around the wall. Well, he could kind of see him, but he's just got nowhere to go. Well, in all that, Phil Lake did manage to get by Sadro. It was down into the Wall of Champions. We don't have to see that. So that moves Lake back up to 4th. Trangarade did retire from the damage that he got, and he is now our latest DNF in this race.
And Aitor Sentes Guindo had a really bad exit off of Lepingle. So as they come to the wall of champions here, he's the one chasing Steve Bycroft now. But I think Bycroft might have Guindo's number. He's really struggling with rear tires, Guindo.
Oh, nearly lost it coming out of the wall of champions, and that allows Krejcik to gain on him. We watch from on board. He's going to want to get a few more positions up. He started in 5th in this class and unfortunately has not gone exactly how he would have wanted with the contact he made with Bycroft early on. Wow, from on board you really get a sense of how claustrophobic the cockpit is and also how close they get to the walls at this place.
Yeah, and you may be surprised. You may be looking at these GTPs and wondering why they're not getting onto the loud pedal a little bit faster. But right now, we have a relative humidity of 65%. You got to remember that this track is right off of the water, so it actually gets pretty moist on the track, and that can cause a lot of wheel spin even in the simulator in iRacing. And that relative humidity being that high is going to make it really challenging to get power down for these GTPs.
Wow, Krejcik getting very, very close to the back of Sintez Guindo. Can't do anything with it out of Lepingle. Let's see, it seemed like last time Aitor was really slow in a straight line, and once again, Krejcik gonna just gobble him up towards the end of it. Oh, but he gets into the back of him.
Oh my gosh.
Turns him around, and then on top of it, there's Bycroft. What happened there?
We keep stumbling upon accidents here.
That was Bycroft all on his own. Came in too hot. And I wonder if that threw off Sintez Guindo. I wonder if he got the yellow flag and saw the car coming and just unfortunately panicked. There's the incident with Bycroft.
This is frankly really surprising to see. I mean, I knew that we were going to have people spinning, but I thought it was going to be on the exit of corners, not into corners on braking. So this is really surprising.
And in all of this, there you see Martin Krejcik slip through to 5th place, which is what he wanted in the first place. This is Guindo's incident.
And Joe, I've been a little bit surprised. The GTPs have been getting some significant draft effect down the Casino Straight. And as we're going to take a look at Reed Miller, I believe Reed Miller is trying to make a pass on Nick Bucanos. Is that true?
Well, Fort Colleen had an off and then retired, but he didn't hit anything, so not sure what happened there as we go to Reed. Reed now caught up to Bucanos.
Joe, to continue my point, if we could pull up the weather for a second, we have some significant wind here today. We have a 19-mile-an-hour wind out of the northwest, and that is what's causing that draft effect down the Casino Straight for the GTPs, and why we're not seeing as much of a draft effect for the GTOs, because they're having a hard time pushing through that strong wind. So this might actually explain why we're seeing some cars upset under braking as well.
That makes a lot more sense now. I was wondering, because I was like, are people getting damaged or what? Usually we never talk about the draft for the GTP class as we ride on board with Reed Miller, trying to get into the slipstream of the boxy Audi ahead from Nick Bucanos, who continues to see this championship slip through his fingers. A 5.5-second gap up to our championship leader, Rob Olenek. And if I'm not mistaken, this will be back-to-back championships for Olenek, will it not?
Yeah, if he can hang on to it. But we got to remember that the GTPs have not started slicing through this field yet. We've got Justin Albrecht catching up to the back of this battle right now, about 2.5 seconds back. So we're going to take a look at Albrecht right now. He's just coming through the Senna S, and he's going to come into this corner right behind these guys. So this is when the stuff is going to start getting interesting, and this is when we've seen Olenek struggle in the past.
Ooh, and this is certainly not helping their Dirty Torque teammate, Justin Albrecht, who catches him right in the braking for 6 and 7. Now he gets a nice long stretch along the Riverside run. He gets 1. Will he get 2? He's going to try and dive it in there. Bucanos sees him coming, gives him room, but he's going to be held up a little bit with the struggle for getting onto the gas out of the corner. Thankfully, for at least Bucanos, Gerber was split between himself and Miller, so that gives himself a nice little gap between the third place driver behind.
Yes, but this has allowed Gerber to catch up to Albrecht, and with that strong headwind, we're going to see Gerber gain quite a bit, I think, down this straight if he can get into the slipstream. He's just a little bit too far back here, but if he gets a stronger push through the wall champions, he might be able to get into that slipstream and start dragging in.
Well, we can't forget this takes effect as well here on the front stretch, which is still running in the same direction. Pretty much the only two straightaways running in this direction on the lap as they come up to our leader now. Rob Olenek, a little wheel spin from Albrecht coming out of the Senna S, and still Gerber can't do anything with it. Through 3 and 4, plugged up behind his teammate. Here comes Gerber, gets a good run, and he gains a lot of time, but just nothing opening up.
That's major commitment from Gerber to keep his foot down as he was pushing towards the outside of that turn. That was really gutsy from him, but he knows that he wants to get this win. He's got the championship, so he's just in it for the win at this point.
Same thing with Albrecht. He's got to try and stop the momentum of Gerber, see if he can end things in his favor, carry that over to the next season. As they come down to Lepingle, this is going to be the critical turn for the number 2. He gets awful close, and now they both apply the throttle. He looks a little bit closer this time, but these cars are so low slung, I'm not sure that this is going to help.
Well, he's got to be half a second behind. The 0.6 is a little bit too far, surprisingly. Like, that's kind of the maximum you get, especially with this wind, and it's a variable wind. Remember that they run dynamic weather here, so that wind is going anywhere from 15 to 20 miles an hour down there. So if it's at 20, he might be able to catch the draft, but at only 15 as it was as he went down that straight, he wasn't able to catch it. So he's got to gain more time to the technical sections, Joe.
Certainly is trying everything. I have not seen Gerber hustle this hard in a while. Albrecht, oof, God, they get so close to that wall.
Yeah, these two really are the class of the field. They're 20 seconds ahead of Gabriel Lonini. 19 seconds at this point ahead of Gabriel Lonini in third place. So these guys really putting on a clinic here.
Yeah, and Lonini is pulled away from Keith by a large margin. So at this point, the Argentinian is just trying to lock down this podium position and run it to the end. But they've got half the race left to go as we look off the gearbox of Justin Albrecht. All right, what has Gerber got this time? Wind speed at about 17 miles an hour. 18 now, picks up a little bit as they also pick up speed down the Royne Lake, but a great launch off the corner for Justin Albrecht is going to keep this one safe.
Yeah, Gerber's throwing it really hard into Lepingle there. He's carrying too much speed through the center, and that doesn't allow him to get rotated and pointing straight when he exits. So that means that he doesn't carry as much speed out of the corner as Albrecht. As you can see, though, he takes the corner at the wall champions a lot better, so he's now right on the gearbox of Albrecht, but it doesn't matter if you don't get a good exit off of the best passing point on the circuit. You're never going to get by.
Well, they have fewer cars to get by now because there's only 15 of our 18 starters, 18 if you count Laughter actually taking to the race, although he has already DNF'd very close down into 6. I wonder if there's different setups on these cars because Gerber seems very, very strong into the braking zones.
Definitely different setups as possible, that Albrecht is a little bit sleeker. He might have dialed some... Oh my goodness, and it looks like Simo Raba was just off course. It looks like he might have blown an engine or something. Nope, he hasn't. But that just holds up Albrecht a little bit, makes him hesitate, and allows Gerber inside. He's going to look inside, but he's not going to make it. Let's see what kind of exit he can get.
Yeah, it was Raba just cutting the course there and getting back on. This is the closest we've seen Fabian Gerber now. In fact, I'm not sure that he would need the slipstream on this one. He is within 0.4 of a second coming down into the Wall of Champions. He is not gaining, though.
Not enough. He's going to have to get a really good exit here, but look at that. Albrecht, a really excellent exit as he saw it through the 007 cam, and Gerber not able to make up the position.
So now down into the Senna S's once more. Ooh, a little wide off the corner for Justin Albrecht. It seems like Justin is a little bit rattled in places. We've seen a few mistakes here and there.
This might not be his favorite track in the world. I know that Gerber mentioned that it wasn't his best track either. These Kamel cars don't really like this track that much, but that's what makes a good challenge for these drivers. And these two are definitely showing themselves to be up to the task. But Gerber really putting good pressure on Albrecht. We'll see whether or not Albrecht has been saving enough stuff to be able to keep Gerber behind him for the rest of the race.
It was a little deep into 8 and 9, and this allows Gerber to close back down to 0.3 of a second. Maybe he'll look for the pass down into Lepingle. Nope, he'll stay behind. Squares off the exit. That's what he needs to do. This is looking very good for Fabian Gerber. They've got lap traffic in front. That's for Colin. You can see Albrecht trying to steal a little bit of the slipstream off him, and it actually works very well. Look at him stretch away.
The Audis are a box. They punch a huge hole in the air compared to the GTPs, so that actually does give Albrecht a significant pace advantage down the Casino Straight. So now as they go down the front straight here, it's really close, but Gerber's just not close enough.
This is looking like a very good day for the Dirty Torque team if Justin Albrecht can just hold on. He leads in the prototypes, but if you look at the GTOs, Olenek for Dirty Torque, you've got Nick Mukanos, you've got Phil Reeds, and Philip Lake, Reed Miller, Phil Reed. The top four for the GTOs, all Dirty Torque. Riding on board with Gerber, looking to spoil their day. I'm sure they'd love to have Gerber join the Dirty Torque team, but no such luck thus far.
Albrecht's consistency has been keeping Gerber behind, and so as long as Albrecht doesn't make a mistake, I think that he might have Gerber's number. I don't think Gerber can get close enough to pass. So here we go, down the straight again. Let's see what Gerber can do here.
Man, just in the low gears, that Nissan looks to struggle for Fabian Gerber, while Albrecht always seems to stretch away. Down through the wall of champions, both of them taking it right up to the edge, coming off of there. They are now down to less than 17 minutes to go.
You may be wondering why we haven't covered the GTOs that much. That's because this is the best battle on the track by far. Reed Miller has fallen off the back of Nick Mukanos by 2 seconds. Phil Lake is clawing his way up to Reed Miller, but it's still going to be quite a few laps before that happens. So these two are the only ones really battling for position right now.
Let's take a look at our leader in the GTOs. Just as we went away, who was that? That was that was Howard.
Chris Howard.
He's had a lot of spins today. He is not liking this car. The number 16. I've looked twice over in 3 and 4 now, in 6 and 7. He's lost the car. This is right ahead of our leaders too.
Yeah, he just locks up the rear brakes, and that's something that's really easy to do in the GTPs. A lot of the people who drive that have told me that it's one of the more difficult things to get the braking right on this car. So if you're not used to it, it can be a real challenge for you.
Continuing to pull away from third place, Gerber has a 28-second gap over Lanini. And again, we're not even 3/4 of the way through this race, so this is going to be monstrous by the end of things. They come across the line for yet one more, but Gerber is starting to look a little bit stuck. Something we haven't talked about in a while in this series is the psychological aspect of racing. Adam, you follow a driver ahead long enough, and for some reason, even though you're faster, it seems like you have all kinds of trouble trying to get by.
Yeah, you have to focus on where it's strongest for you to pass. It's one of those things where you can't just be trying to pass him in every corner. You have to race the lap so that you set yourself up for the right moment to pass, especially in both of these cars, but especially in the Nissan. If you race the entire lap trying to get by the guy ahead of you, you're just going to find yourself stuck in bad positions most of the lap because you're trying too hard to pass him everywhere instead of focusing on one point where you know you're stronger than the driver ahead, where you can get a good run off the corner and make a pass.
This is that spot we keep focusing on that we think he's going to try and get a good run, but Gerber never quite seems to do it. You can see the distance that is put between himself and the number 5 up ahead, denying him the chance down into the final chicane. One other fight that is getting relatively close. Well, it was getting close, but now they hit traffic. Steve Bycroft was chasing Krejcik, and Bycroft got held up by Phil Lake down through the 4-5 section.
Yeah, Bycroft has been trying to claw his way back ever since that spin. He's definitely got Krejcik on pace, just like he had Gaindo on pace. But Krejcik is no slouch in these GTPs, as we've seen multiple times. So Bycroft trying to claw his way back up there, just getting held up by traffic.
I wonder if they'll be able to catch John Keefe as well. They are about 10 seconds behind, so it's a long ways up the rope. Remember, Keefe qualified in 8th position. He's still running in 4th. Now, he lost his podium, but this has been a magnificent drive from the Hoosier.
Yeah, but Joe, they'd have to make up at least 1 second a lap in order to try and get by, because at which point they would have, what, about half a lap and a half to try and make it by. So these guys would have to do quite a bit to try and make it by John Keefe, even if they were to catch him.
Now let's pull up the lap time comparisons between Keefe and Krejcik, because I'm looking at them, and you know that's not out of the question. I think it might be possible, but like you said, it'll rely on him really making a decisive move, since it'll really come down to the end. But you never know. We always see traffic play havoc in this.
Oh, Fabian Gerber's gone around. Fabian Gerber has spun around at the Wall of Champions.
Just as we pull our graphic up there for the lap comparison, Gerber losing valuable time. And unfortunately, that might cost him the win here today. Here's the replay.
He's just pushing too hard, Joe, just trying to get more out of it than the car could give. He just locks up. He just gets a little tight into the corner at the Wall of Champions. Oh, he gets into the grass. He got into the grass with his left rear, and that unsettled the car, so he had to lift the brake pedal, and that gets him too fast entering the corner.
As we come back live, that puts him about 10 seconds behind Albrecht. He could yet still run him down as he was staying close behind. Let's give a little bit more of a look now at the lap comparison we were looking at before between Keefe and Krejcik, now that we've got an opportunity. And you can see that Krejcik very consistently faster. Last time through, he must have had an off, though. I wonder if he cut the course last time through. Seeing that. Oh, there we go. Now it comes up. So there's the lap comparison between them. Just needed to cross the line is all it was.
Yeah, I just don't think they have enough time, Joe. I mean, it would have to come down to a mistake from John Keefe, I think, even with the amount of time. We have about 11 minutes left, and with them lapping at about 127, high 127s, low 128s, they're just not going to have enough time to make it.
Yeah, I think you're right. And indeed, John Keefe now 11 seconds ahead. So Krejcik should have really been chopping away at that point. Speaking of chopping away, already in the one lap since I mentioned it, Gerber's down to 7.5 seconds behind Albrecht. He's got the red mist.
Yeah, Gerber's really good at ringing out these GTPs for sure, and Albrecht probably used up more of his stuff than he wanted to, trying to hold off Gerber, so Albrecht might just be managing the gap a little bit, whereas Gerber's on the chart.
Gerber, having dealt with a little bit of traffic, there is nothing between them now. They'll go by Simo Raba, but Raba's doing a good job of staying out of the way. Now, Reed Miller is starting to get up to the back of Mukanos again, and this seems to happen every once in a while, and then something sets Miller back. It's less than a second now, and this is for second place. This really doesn't have much of an impact on the championship. This, at this point, is simply for pride.
Yeah, and there was no real mistake from Nick Lucanos. This is just Reed Miller finding his pace and not having traffic to worry about. So Reed is actually gaining quite a bit. And it's possible that Nick's tires have gone. It's one of those things that I talked about at the beginning of the race. If you have a little bit too much rear drive in this car and you're spinning your tires off the corner, you're going to lose a lot of the grip that is going to make you fast around here since you have so many slow speed corners.
Maybe he's got some practice. Reed Miller racing on one of his home tracks, the Canadian versus the Californian. Maybe that tire management just a little bit better in the number 12. He loses a little bit of time in the first part of the lap, but now as they weave through 8 and 9, let's see how he is through here. It was down to about 7/10. It's gone back up to 1.1. And Miller's time's not coming down, unfortunately. So, Lucanos responding.
Yeah, Meccano's probably realizing that Reed was getting too close for comfort. He's going to put a little bit more juice into it. And this is allowing him to snake away a little bit. But yeah, I think that Nick might have been using up too much of his tires trying to navigate that traffic. And so he's just backed it off a little bit.
Could yet still be held up by traffic. And actually, our leader is coming up on them pretty soon. Justin Albrecht just has to get by Phil Lake. And then next up the road is that battle for second in the GTOs. There you see our GTP leader, Justin Albrecht. This is going to be a very nice win for him. And in fact, let's see, what number of win would this be for Albrecht? 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be win number 5 out of 12 rounds. That tells you just how dominant both he and Gerber have been this season.
Yeah, and when you're that dominant, when both of you are that dominant and both of you are the ones winning each race most of the time, it really only takes one bad race to knock you off the championship spot.
Yeah, in comparison, Gerber with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins. So that will actually, so that's every single round between them. The only 2 drivers to win this season if Albrecht takes it home. Meanwhile, on screen, Bycroft and Krejcik. Bycroft has run Martin down and is looking to get into the top 5.
Yeah, Bycroft has been working on this for the better part of 10 minutes now, and so he's, well, actually since he spun, but he's been able to see Krejcik for about 10 minutes now. Whoa, so not as fast up as he wants to.
We've had a huge incident. This is between Sintez Galindo and Phil Lake. And I think Phil Lake has had to take a tow because of it. So has Sintez Galindo.
Oh no, this is what I talked about at the beginning of the race. This is just a classic wheel spin scenario as we see the carnage aftermath. Take a look as Sintez Galindo gets into the corner well, but as he exits, he starts to get wheel spin. He's unable to control it. He gets his left rear onto that grass there, and that just makes him spin out, and poor Phil Lake just gets collected.
Wrong place at the wrong time, unfortunately. And you could see Aitor actually ended up on his lid. He's staying out of the way, thinking he's fully clear, he's fine, and then suddenly it all goes wrong.
Joe, that's just the story of Phil's season. He started it in the GTPs and had that scenario happen, and now just what a sour season for Phil. Hopefully he could just clean it up and wipe his hands of this season and jump into next season with a fresh start.
Yep. Clean slate is sometimes what you need. As we come back to Gerber, that happened right in front of Gerber. That white car that you saw flying through was our second place driver in the prototypes. Meanwhile, let's jump back to that battle for 5th in the prototypes. Martin Krejcik versus Steve Bycroft. They're coming through the twisty bits right now. Martin in the green and white machine. The yellow and black is Steve Bycroft. He's awful close, coming down to 6th. Not nearly close enough, though.
Bycroft got in there a little bit hot, had to brake more than he wanted to, missed the apex by quite a bit, so that's going to set him back a little bit. But Bycroft, we've seen him outbrake himself a little bit, and they have the wind at their back when they're going through this section, so that could be affecting their braking point.
Yeah, that wind stayed in pretty much the same direction, even though it's been changing in speed. So they've at least had consistency to work with, and there's a mistake from Martin. Somehow catches the car, but those rear wheels are all lit up now. He's struggling to get the power down. So is Steve Bycroft, hopefully trying to get himself an opportunity. He is within the slipstream. Defensive move from Martin Krajcik. Last time through, they both outbrake themselves into the corner. Bycroft deep onto the brakes, gonna chop him off at the apex, nice and smooth through there. That was decisive.
That was a great move from Bycroft. When he needed to hit his breaking point, he did, and that was that was amazing move.
That was an amazing catch from Martin. The rear of the car absolutely went away from him into the braking of Lepingle, and he knew it. He immediately goes defensive here. Unfortunately, just not quite brave enough on the binders. And Bycroft, wow, I am surprised he took to the apex like he did.
Me too, but I guess Bycroft was making a decisive move. He must have gotten a clear call from his spotter and just dove it down in there. Whereas Krajcik, trying to approach that corner with a shallow angle, is one of the most terrifying moments, because especially in these GTPs, you get under trade damage, and that's pretty much your race over.
Well, I'd say it might be race over for Krajcik anyways, because now that Bycroft has gotten through, he is off and away, not interested in any sort of battle. Meanwhile, we come up to our leader in the GTOs, Rob Olenek, looking like he has got this championship under wraps. Honestly, even if he wrecks, that'll put him in 5th now.
Yeah, he's done a good job, and that, I think, putting him in 5th, that means that Nick McComas would have to win this race, which he would if Rob Olenek wrecks. So Rob just has to hang on to it and hope for one more DNF, and then he's got this championship in the bag.
He's certainly wheeling the car still. You could see him sliding off of Lepingle, lighting up the rears. And I know I didn't say it verbally, so I can't have anybody to verify me, but I was thinking we'd have 12 runners at the end, and right now we've got 11. So that was my over-under, Adam, that the answer we never got to. Take a look at our leader in the prototypes as well. He's going to get the white flag this time by. Still holding Gerber back. It looked like Fabian was going to run him down at first, but now it's held station. It's at 9 seconds still.
Yeah, I think Fabian just has used up too much of his stuff, and he's decided to hold on to that second position. So, yeah, it's just one of those things where you realize that you're a little bit too far back, and he knew that when he had that spin, he had about 6 or 7 laps left, and that's just not enough time to make up 8.5 seconds.
See, weaves it through Lepingle. The penultimate lap, just ahead of him. Justin Albrecht is coming up to the final chicane. White flag is out for the Dirty Torque driver. It is looking like a likely win for Dirty Torque in the prototypes and a podium sweep over in the GTOs for Dirty Torque.
Yeah, and Justin shouldn't have any traffic to deal with. Well, no, he will have the car of Simo Raba to pass, but aside from that, he should be pretty much clear to the end.
Olenek's taking the white flag right now as well. Seeing if he has any prototypes. No, he has pretty much none. Gabriel Lanini is a little ways back, and he might catch him. But otherwise, it's all down to Olenek essentially cruising to the end. Oh, Reed Miller, though, had a problem. I don't think he's not going to lose this 3rd place because Sadro's far behind. And he did find the wall.
Coming into the wall, champions here. He just he runs over that curb pretty significantly, and that prevents him from turning in, so that just sends him straight into the wall.
Watch it from on board here. As soon as this replay is over, Albrecht is down the rowing straight right now. Just nudges it. Justin Albrecht ending it on a high here at Montreal with the sun slowly setting in Canada. I'd say that the Buckeye driver would rather have the championship, but any auto victory will be bittersweet as he takes a win at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Watching Fabian Gerber, our champion for who knows how many times at this point, taking second. As we now head over to Rob Olenek. This is the championship and a win. His third win of the season for Rob Olenek. Montreal being kind to the number 3, your new champion here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
You put it in when it counts, Joe, so that's when the win needed to happen. Nick McConnell is going to come home in second, but it's not going to feel like a good second place for him. He wanted that win. He wanted that championship. Reed Miller in third.
Oh, so close, but it was not to be this season. With that, we're going to take a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll come back to you with the official results as well as driver interviews. If you watch on screen, you'll see all the upcoming races here on the GSRC. Welcome back to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We just watched the final round of this season for the Kamel GT series, and Justin Albrecht managed to take the win But it was a little bit too little too late because Fabian Gerber had already taken the championship in previous rounds. He finished well behind after an unusual mistake for the number 2 set him backwards, but Gabriel Lanini, hats off to him, taking another podium. Much like last week, John Keefe himself gets 4th, having started in 8th with Martin Krejcik. We didn't get to cover it because we were calling the finish for our winner in the GTOs, but he got by and took the 5th back from Steve Bycroft, who has to settle for 6th. Adam?
Rob Olenek taking home the win and the championship in the GTOs, followed by Nick McConos in 2nd place. A podium for him, but not a good feeling one. Reed Miller, even after his accident into the wall of champions, still comes home in the 3rd position, with Daniel Sadro in 4th. And we have Simo Raba in 5th place, rounding out your finishers tonight.
Then you've got the DNFs for today. There are quite a few. No surprises at Montreal. Sintez Galindo, Lake, Howard for Colin, Romero, Trangarade, surprisingly. Usually he does pretty decently here. Ben Laughter managed to start, but then retired a little bit later, and Rajan Paul was a DNS for today. We've got our 2nd place finisher and our champion in the prototypes waiting to talk to us, Fabian Gerber, with another podium today. Fabian, you didn't finish it off on a win, and it looked like passing at this track was quite a struggle.
Yes, it was a big struggle. It was actually impossible. Even if I was close at like 4/10 after the hairpin, I couldn't overtake. I couldn't even try. It was impossible. I just had to wait for a mistake from Justin, and then I made one myself. So that's not really good. Can't be proud of that one, but it was a fun race and a great drive by Justin.
Don't know if you took a look at the weather either before or after the race, but it was wavering between 15 and 20 miles an hour. So it was windy out there. Could you feel that out on the track?
I'm not sure because I was mostly in the draft of Justin, so I couldn't really feel a difference, I think. No. And in the end of the race, neither. I'm not sure. I think I had to brake earlier for the hairpin, but I thought it was because of the tires, but I'm really not sure.
I suspect that was the wind because it was a tailwind coming into the hairpin. So we get a fresh start for next season and things turn over. But of course, we kick it off with Sebring, which is a very tricky and punishing course in its own right. How are you looking forward to that after a 2-week break?
I'm always looking forward to Sebring. It's a great track, but it's a difficult one. So and usually a lot of new guys in the first race of the season. So traffic is going to be a topic too. But I look forward to it, but also for a little break. It was a tough season.
Yeah, it looked like it. Well, enjoy the 2 weeks off, savor your new championship, and we'll see you at Sebring, hopefully.
Thanks a lot, guys. We will have a good time.
2nd place, Fabian Gerber, but still champion. And another champion, back-to-back champion, as Adam is talking to Rob Olenek.
Yeah, Rob, congratulations on the win and congratulations on the championship. It looked like you were the class of the field tonight. You just continued to pull away from Nick as the laps wound on.
It didn't seem like it was going to be that way coming into the race today, but I don't know. Stuff was kind of clicking for me before the race, and I felt good going into it. But Phil was just as fast. Nick was pretty much just as fast. I think I just was clicking right from the start. Yeah, when I got away, though, it got scary. That final chicane, I thought was going to kill me today.
Yeah, there was a significant headwind into that final chicane there. Were you feeling the effects of the 15 to 20 mile an hour wind throughout the race?
I didn't notice it at all. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't affect the Audi as much, or I didn't look at the weather, so I didn't even think about that. It's been cool all week, and it was cool during the race, and the grip's pretty high right now, so I didn't notice that at all.
So were you able to manage your stuff throughout the race, or were you going 110% pretty much through the whole thing?
I was going 110% until I got around 6-7 second lead, and then I backed off my brake points into a few of the harder chicanes to make sure I didn't screw up. final one, and then the one before the hairpin. Those two were the ones that really get me the most. And then I was still driving pretty much normal the rest of the lap.
So looking to next season, we're starting off with Sebring. What are your thoughts going into that challenging course?
I love that track. I'm just not good there. But it is a great track. It's really fun to drive. I think it's a great multi-class track. Like it's just it's one of the anchor kind of tracks for Kamel. I think it always brings in a good amount of people, good racing. It's a really it's fun racing there too. It's hard to get away from someone, so you end up battling in that race.
Well, congratulations on the win and congratulations on the championship, Rob. Is there anyone you want to thank tonight?
I thank the Dirty Torque teammates. Also, congrats to Nick. It came down to the wire, and if I wasn't going to win it, I was hoping he would. So it would have been good either way. So thank you guys, and I'll see you next season.
Thank you. We will see you next season as well, Rob. All right, that was Rob Olenek, our first place finisher and championship winner in the GTOs. And it looks like Joe has Gabriel Lanini, our third place finisher in the GTPs.
Absolutely. Gabe had an incredible start off the green flag, got himself into third, and then a couple mistakes and a little argy-bargy cost you position. Talk about the pass that John Keefe made on you into the first few corners, because looked like there was a little bit of contact involved.
Hello, everybody. Yes, there was a bit of contact. It was my fault. He went to the inside, and I didn't give enough room. I thought I was far more on the inside than I thought what it was. So we had a slight contact at the apex on T1. But fortunately, it was. It wasn't a big consequence of that. John completed the pass. It was okay because I made a mistake on the last corner. And Steve almost managed to capitalize that on the outside of T2, but he had some trouble on acceleration. So I could slot back in fourth and start chasing John since then. There was conditions for this race were a bit tricky and caught me out on the first laps. That's why I struggled so much and made several mistakes.
Well, not just Sebring coming up, which we've mentioned before, but we've also got a Week 13 event that the Kamel guys are putting together at Long Beach, of all places. Do you think you'll be taking part in that? Because you certainly don't want to make mistakes there.
Oh yes, it's gonna be tough. I hope to take part because it was originally my idea and I have been organizing it and taking the sign-ups and so on the forums. It's gonna be very tough. Yes, you definitely don't want to make mistakes there. They are going to be way more costly. Walls are much closer there, and it's even a longer race. It's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be great fun.
I am absolutely looking forward to that one, as we are in talks about broadcasting it, and it's looking pretty likely at this point. Again, congratulations on another podium. We need to get you just a little bit up the road, though, and challenging Albrecht and Gerber. They took all the wins this season.
Yes, they seem to be on another level, and I was nowhere near this track, even further away than other tracks. Montreal is far from being my best track. I always struggle here, so I was never expecting to challenge them. I hope I can do it on other tracks next season.
All right. Well, we look forward to that. You've certainly been an awesome addition to this series. And again, congratulations on the podium, sir.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
That was Gabriel Lanini, third from fourth on the grid as well. So that's going to close things out for us today with our interviews. And of course, we want to thank the Kamel Series for bringing us back another season of coverage, and also to iRacing for putting us on IES. And make sure and subscribe. All you got to do is go to their YouTube page, click the big red button that says subscribe, and you won't miss a moment here on the iRacing Esports Network. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcast. They're listed here on your screen. And additional thanks go out to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the team today, Adam, Sean, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on social media, though. Our Twitter is at GSR Channel, Facebook is Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram is GSRC_Graham. As we mentioned, our next race for the official season is going to be at Sebring. That'll be Saturday, September 14th at 1 p.m. Eastern. If things do go through with the Long Beach race, that'll be a week from now at the same time, same place. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.